Okay, I'm gonna try to video making ciabatta bread. Okay, what I start with is a mixer, scale, water, salt, and flour. I also use 2 plastic dough scrapers and another scraper that's metal that I use to cut the dough. Now I've just weighed out 500 grams of flour, and then 10 grams of salt and 5 grams of yeast that are on opposite sides of the bowl, because if you get salt on the yeast, it apparently messes up the yeast. And 300 mils of water with the dough hook, and you just let it go until most of the flour is taken up. I think the point here is to keep the flour from flying all over. And I just added the rest of the water. I'm going to turn it to medium and let it go for 10 minutes or so. And it will kind of ball up and then stretch out. Okay. While the dough is mixing, I oil up a pan thing like this with olive. You can see as the dough mixes, it's changing texture and it gets pretty stretchy. This is probably 2 or 3 minutes in. I don't know, 10 minutes or something. I didn't keep track of the time. You can see it's super gloopy and sticky. So I have a bowl of water that I put my hands in to try to keep as much dough as possible off of me, and just get it off the hook. Just sort of scrape the remnants out with the dough scraper and dump the dough in here. Just put the lid on and walk away and let it rise. It's about that much. I put in too much olive oil, but it won't hurt it. Till it's about double of that or even a little more. So this is probably more than doubled, but I think I'm gonna let it go a few more minutes. You can see it's bubbly. That's all the stuff you want to keep in there and not knock out. Okay, this is my setup that I'm going to use to put the dough on when I make it into loaves. It's just a cookie sheet that I can slide stuff off of one edge with parchment paper sitting on the top, and that will slide off onto the pizza stone. I use a fair amount of flour that I'm gonna dump the dough out onto because it's so sticky. You just don't want to mix the flour into the dough. Kind of turn it upside down and let it fall out. It's like the easiest way. Let's see if I can get it out. So that's the dough. You can see it's not really very square, so putting it in a square thing is absolutely not critical. So I just used my scrapers to sort of push that into a squarish shape. Doesn't have to be perfect. Ooh, great camera work there, Liz. Yeah, but it does get very sticky. So now I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces using my metal dough scraper. And I usually start by, if I put a little bit of flour on the top, not a ton, but just where I'm going to cut it, so it doesn't stick so much. Cut it down the middle of the square, and then I'm just going to reshape a little. So I kind of want 4 rectangle-ish shapes. And then maybe a little bit more flour on the top of that. And down the middle of that. Okay. Okay. So now I have 4 pieces that I'm just gonna square up a little bit with the, or rectangle up a little bit with the plastic scrapers. So that's about how I'm gonna stop. That's basically how I do it. Just pick that up and put it on the tray. So now they're all shifted over to the tray, and I'll let them sit for, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. The oven's still heating up, so it'll just be resting for now. All right, those have settled for 20 minutes or so, and I'm going to pick up the tray and let's see, try to figure out how you can see this. And slide them off onto a pizza stone. Close her up. Turn on the, oh, nice. I have a fan that in my oven that helps distribute the heat, and then I'll let them cook for 20 to 25 minutes. So this is just at the beginning of the cooking, and I'll take another picture when they've sort of browned a bit. That's about 22 minutes. I maybe could have cooked them a little bit longer, but they'll be fine. And just for scale, they're not huge, but they're good.